Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the first of 3 episodes on Fate Heavensfield. We're into movies that we're covering one at a time. We I guess jumped ahead a format to Garden of Sinners where we were just going to talk about a whole bunch of movies at once. But this is going to be 3 episodes, 1 per movie. And the first of which is Heavensfield Part 1, Presage Flower, I believe is
Flower, yeah.
Presage Flower is the subtitle of it. And I really liked it. And I haven't seen number 2 yet, but I look forward to it.
Yeah.
But with us we have KJ, Astreus, aka Caleb, and Marjade. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. Okay. Yeah.
No complaints.
Okay.
Yeah, no complaints. Yeah. Hey, look, holidays coming up. You're just like you're in a good mood because you're like, I got a couple days off. That's cool.
Yeah.
But,
I'm actually already off, and I just finished editing a Get Good Scrub podcast that is uploading now, but it's an hour and
Taking a
15
while.
minutes of 4K video. So it's
No.
I uploaded it about an hour ago, and I think it's hold on one sec, I'll actually check 22%. So yes, in this one we will be talking about Ubisoft's NFTs, the Shill Awards, and some thoughts on the Halo Infinite campaign and Arcane. Actually, Fonz and I talk about Arcane.
Oh,
not
very
nearly
nice.
as in depth as KJ and I went into.
Yeah, I would hope not, or that podcast would be 6 hours long with all the other.
Yeah,
content.
no, we talk
2 hours
about
and a half,
Arcane
2.5
for about 10 minutes at the beginning of this episode, not like
Yeah.
a 2-hour deep dive. Also, I didn't even know until we were recording, Fonz was apparently only halfway finished it. So I was like, so now I gotta actually worry about like spoiler territory.
Now you
and
know.
stuff, and,
Now you know what it's like to be in my brain.
Yeah, I know. And but yes, Coconut with the super sticker off the bat. Thank you very much, man. All right, and yes, in order to have footage of this stream, I had to go about things in a different way because this movie wasn't streaming really anywhere. So I had to use my physical copy, my Blu-ray, and create a digital copy because I have no Blu-ray drive on this computer. So
Yeah. See, I do, but just because I'm a curmudgeon, so.
My choice was either do the stream from over there because that computer, the home theater one, has a Blu-ray drive, or figure out how to rip a Blu-ray. So I downloaded this program called MKV Maker, and it worked quite well, and it's a high quality file. So we should be good to go as far as footage goes. Yeah. So this movie opens, I'd say the first, 20 minutes to half an hour of it are either before Unlimited Blade Works or within the first, 3 episodes maybe?
Give or take,
yeah. Which episode? Because and nothing as far as events go is any different. You don't see the same stuff, but nothing new happens, and nothing happens that's different from what happens in Unlimited Blade Works.
And then you hit that mark where it starts to really veer off course.
Yeah. There's
like you have Ilya attack the group in a totally different location under a totally different context. You've got the whole Archer versus Lancer thing, Assassin versus Lancer thing, and you have the whole assassin business, which gets kind of complicated.
Does Ilya attack them in a different location?
Yeah, she attacks them right outside the church instead of waiting for them down the road. She just comes right to them.
Yeah, but it was at about the same time though, right? Like it's after they talk. Yeah, so
about the same time.
I guess that I didn't really pick up on. So I mean, I guess we're jumping a bit ahead here, but let's see if I can find roughly where that happens.
Yeah, because your introduction, your first 20-ish minutes, a lot of it does take place sort of before the events. In fact, it even says 10 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yeah, it's giving you.
And then it finally ends with today, and you're like, oh, here it is. Here's where it's going to start.
I just realized I probably have to mute this. Especially
just in case. Yeah.
Also it's going to be hard to speak on top of it. The DLC doesn't have a volume thing? That's strange.
I guess not.
It like
mean,
skips through the summoning of Saber and the fight with Lancer and everything like that, and it's just like you already saw that in UBW. You don't
Yeah, that's what kind of does. It plays it over the credits, which I think is really smart.
Yeah,
It shows
that's
you
the thing.
fight
There's
happens,
like
but it's just,
20 minutes before the kind of opening credit sequence, and then that starts showing shots from UBW that are just sort of like catching you up. So I guess Ufotable is assuming
Yes.
that you have seen UBW at the
you
very
were
least.
supposed to watch UBW first before this. Yes, that is a big assumption. It's very similar to, and I don't like this comparison because I think this is actually a failure of Brotherhood, but the fact that they just sort of they just blow right over like the first like big chunk of FMA, because they assume if you're watching Brotherhood, you've seen the original that they did. So Bones is like, oh, you've seen the other one. Everybody and their mother has. Let's just skip past all that stuff. Which
See,
I think
what
is a
was-
failure of Brotherhood, just
what
because
was-
I think more time should have been taken on that.
I think what was interesting about that though is I watched Brotherhood first and I wasn't lost at all. Like I didn't. It was almost like I felt the extra depth that they went into for the first few arcs in Full Metal Alchemist was not really 100% necessary in order to understand the story. Whereas I think if I watched Heaven's Feel cold, like if I hadn't seen any of UBW, say I hadn't watched any of Fate Zero either, say someone just gives me the Blu-ray of Heaven's Feel for Christmas, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool. I don't think I'd have any idea what's going on. I think I would just be like, wait, hold on, wait. Oh.
Yeah, this definitely takes into account that you've seen the other stuff, because it oh, you know Lancer, you know this fight, you know Ryder, so it's like it's like the characters also know that that was Ryder during we'll talk about this later, but the first time you see her in the alley when Shinji pops out, and then and Ryder fights Saber, they know it's Ryder, so.
Yeah.
Wait, is that playing through on our stream? I can't tell if I'm actually getting the sound. How do I mute
I'm
this?
not hearing.
I don't hear.
I don't hear it. I think you're
audio,
okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go. Audio mute. There you go.
Okay.
Technology.
But yeah. So 30. We're looking at 40 minutes before this fight happens. I didn't really. I didn't pick up on the fact that Ilya attacks them earlier, but where I kind of see is the dividing line is when I almost said Shinji. When Shiro effectively gets disemboweled.
Yeah.
That I kind of see. I think actually it happens right
here. Yeah, where he's like, I'm gonna do something, and
he
Ilya's
jumps,
just like, wait, what?
Yeah, Ilya's just like, wait, it's not supposed to go down like this.
Yeah,
and he gets like really wrecked.
It's incredibly violent. Like there's a bit of intestine falling out. Like it's definitely okay.
I don't know if you want to show that or not.
There's like his innards kind of spilling out at the end there, and that's where I kind of saw as like, okay, this is the line in the sand where it's like at this point forward, it's the Heaven's Feel story, because that's something that definitely didn't happen in UBW. And everything that happens as a result of this is what makes things different. Now, again, I didn't pick up on Ilya attacking them in a different spot, so maybe that's the variable.
There's a couple, because if you notice, there are just a couple of things that are a little different, that are just a little off, little different. One of the ones that happens after this is who finds captain of the basketball force. I joke, but if you remember in UBW, she goes missing, right?
Yeah.
So she goes missing, and then they hear later, they're like, oh, hang on, they found her and she's resting at home, right? So Shiro is not involved in any of that. And he stumbles upon her directly, and then that's when the Ryder Saber fight happens, where Ryder gets bodied.
Yeah, and I was actually kind of surprised by that too, because you guys said that Ryder plays a bigger part in Heaven's Feel, and she got dummied in one move again.
She does show up later.
I know. It's just when I was first watching this, I was like, oh, she's fucking useless in this one too. You kidding me?
You thought we were memeing on you?
It's one thing. Andrew Matthews for £5 for Gummy JoJo. Yes, JoJo has no incisors, so her front teeth are all gone, both top and bottom. So she just has nothing in the middle, but 4 canines sort of bordering it. She's very cute when she yawns now, but she lost a lot of teeth, and it cost us a lot of money. So very, very much thank you for the super chats, because it'll help us pay off that veterinarian debt. Oral dental surgery for puppies.
Oral stuff can get expensive very quickly.
Yes,
even if people, dogs, it's just
well, it's why they actually gave us the opportunity. Like, they're like, hey, we could maybe keep some of her incisors, but they're kind of impacted from the adult teeth that have, or sorry, the baby teeth that were kind of keeping them from growing properly. So it'll probably cause her problems later. So X-Ray Girl was just like, yeah, just take them out, because apparently she had issues with Harley's teeth too, and Harley hardly has any teeth. But the puppies are doing well though. Today was the last day of her pain medication. So hopefully she'll still be in a good mood tomorrow, because she's not getting any more pain meds.
But in the beginning of the movie, we have like the beginning of Sakura and Shiro's relationship, and again, it kind of like 10 months ago, 8 months ago, whatever. It shows that Shiro got injured and all that stuff.
Very slice of life, like
very slice of life. But it's really nice to show their relationship. I quite like it a lot. He kind of showing her, this is how you do this, this is how you do this. She's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you don't get to see in UBW that Shiro basically taught her everything about house skills.
Yeah, which is a funny little reversal. And also, I love this shot because like Taiga is just completely useless. I love Taiga to death, but she is just worthless as a sack of rocks, just eating and watching television. But you know,
I noticed they also
Home-ec with Shiro. Yeah.
They also make a reference that Taiga was in a relationship with Kiritsugu at
kind
some point.
Of, yeah.
And,
it's sort of like so remember when I said that like Kiritsugu reminds Taiga, or Taiga reminds Kiritsugu of Shirley, because I said that you mentioned that just because UBW doesn't really go over it. So that's why she essentially just runs roughshod over the house, because she's essentially like the guardian, and he's essentially put her in charge of most of this shit. Just because of his care for her, and I know he would dote on her. I believe the light novel goes into him doting on her quite a bit, just because her personality and her tenacity reminded him of Shirley. I don't think it was ever romantic or sexual, but it was very caring for sure.
I don't know. Don't sell our boy Kiritsugu short. He got
true, maybe, but I believe it was more of like a caring, doting thing of him, just sort of nurturing that.
I mean, I can see the similarities with Shirley, but then I'm like, I don't exactly buy it as romantic, only because like of like, you know, his side piece in Fate Zero was like a complete opposite personality.
I think Maya. Though I think Maya as a side piece gets recontextualized towards the end of Fate Zero, though, when you find out that Iris Veal is basically a doll. Like, so it's like, well, I mean, maybe they're like it might not have been the most traditional marriage they had. So I think Maya was like his actual girlfriend, and the Einsburns probably like said, "Hey, we need you to father a child with our homunculus here."
Well, I think it just kind of happened by accident, if I remember correctly, in the visual novel or the light novel. In Fate Zero, it sort of happens by accident.
Well, there you go.
They're not really
supposed.
They're not really supposed to fall in love, because again, she's a tool, really. But he just sort of shows her around, tells her about the world, and buys her the car, which she then proceeds to fucking go all Drift King on in Fate Zero, which is one of my favorite scenes.
X-Ray Girl's here.
Hey.
Speaking of things that we marry.
Yeah, and so it was just kind of like happenstance that kind of led them to love each other. And again, a child was definitely not in the itinerary. It just kind of happened. Tends to happen, but it just kind of happened. Because originally, that's literally what I was about to say. Yeah, it originally was just kind of a job for Kiritsugu that became something more. So he just sort of stumbled over. I always love using the trip over a coffee table metaphor. or simile, whatever you want to call it, because I love that like visual of trip over a coffee table and something just kind of happens and you're like, oh, where'd this come from? So yeah, it's really kind of nice, and so that sort of translates over to Taiga in an interesting way, which of course leads her to sort of be like Shiro's guardian, and she's pretty much the most important like non-romantic person to Shiro in terms of like he doesn't see her that way, but like she's very very important to him, as we saw in UBW when he goes absolutely spastic when she's in trouble. But yeah. I do love this this progression with Sakura and Shiro, and I like that it doesn't like bog you down too much. It's it shows you just enough. And it's like, okay, 10 months, all right, we'll have a scene, a couple of scenes, okay, 8 months, and it just kind of keeps moving along, so you can see the progression
and
the evolution of the relationship.
You can see her face lighten over time.
Yeah.
Like before she comes, she's like really downtrodden, and then like after a few months, she starts smiling.
And I guess it kind of makes sense as a reason for her to want to be spending her time at Shiro's house, or the Emiya household, because we know how just dark and horrible the Mato house is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that it's like, well, I don't know. I think that she wanted to take care of Shiro because he got injured, and then she kind of liked visiting. And then sort of made it so that she kept on coming over more and more often.
Yeah.
And then when we get into the meat of this route, it's okay. Now we like the Shinji being outed as a villain happens a lot earlier. So knowing that Sakura like lives in that house, like Shiro was just kind of like, yeah, no, let's maybe let her stay here, because Shinji's there's signs of abuse, like she has a bruise on her cheek that it's at least implied that she got from Shinji, and and Shiro doesn't, he's the good kind of white knight where he doesn't want the girl to go back to an abusive household. And I thought that this whole relationship was set up in a really interesting way, which is interesting knowing the context we know about the Rin route, because I guess in my head Rin and Shiro are kind of like, they're sort of meant to be together because I've seen their whole relationship play out, where it seems like this one dividing line happening so that Shiro's injured and goes home a bit on a different route earlier, runs into Shinji, Saber has the fight with Ryder, and like all that kind of leads towards, it might make it so that the relationship between Shiro and Rin never really develops the way it did in UBW, and instead Sakura becomes a much more important character in the story. And it seems at least like they're kind of going to make it so that there's a romantic involvement between Sakura and Shiro, and in a way that makes sense and doesn't make it seem like, so like one thing goes weird and he just ends up with the sister. It's it's like, it's not quite that simple, because there's a lot of different variables, and I think they show it quite well. Yeah, I was about to say, we were gonna get there, but Taiga was just like, hey, she has E-cups?
Yeah, and I heard that, and I was like,
I was just like, based.
Yeah, so L-Dub, to sort of piggyback off what you just commented, Rin sort of stabilizing Shiro and Shiro sort of stabilizing Sakura, I think is not only deliberate, but I think that if you've ever seen the alignment chart that people have made for Shiro, that in terms of static and more flexible and selfless or selfish, that the Heaven's Feel route and the UBW route are diametrically opposed. So I would just keep that in mind as you continue to watch it, because I think it's really interesting. Of course, you've seen it before, so you know what I'm talking about, but everybody else. Also, Caleb, do you want to bring up the thing about the keys?
Yeah, did anybody notice that Shiro brings up he doesn't really need a key to his house as much anymore?
Is it just because Sakura is always there?
Because he gives her a key. Now, do you remember? Or sorry, continue, Caleb.
What was the reference to keys in Garden of Sinners?
The
Oh, it's
home is not a house without a lock.
Yeah,
Or
without
like
a
a-
lock and without a key.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another through line when talking about, because it's talking about in terms of the way that Shiro and Sakura interact, because he gives her the key to his place, and then he kind of remarks during that monologue that he doesn't really use his key much anymore because Sakura is always there waiting for him.
And
Which
he
I think
doesn't
is
have
very
to
interesting.
defend himself against Sakura.
No, because that's home. So yeah. Another through line with Garden of Sinners. There's a lot of symbolic and thematic references you can pull back to Garden of Sinners, which is why I had us watch it. But that's one of many.
Kind of wonder.
You can
Why
thank.
I convinced you to get us to watch it.
Yeah. I was on board with watching it. I just wasn't necessarily on board with watching it before Heaven's Feel. But you convinced me it was a good idea, and to be fair, you were right on that. So
There we go. Sorry, I'm just trying to format this. So
A broken clock is right once a day.
twice a day technically, but
um,
shows the nightmare,
yeah. So
which
I
is pretty
don't
great.
know. The nightmare that he has pretty often. Oh yeah, and then
Oh,
this
yeah.
is right before the opening credits, I believe.
Mhm, yeah,
When you
sees
hear,
Token.
yeah, Zokin's just like,
Hey, how's it going?
how is the what does he say? How's the Einsburn girl?
Yeah,
doing?
he asks how's the Einsburn girl doing, and Shiro just looks at him really confused, and he immediately just goes, and just returns
He's
back
like,
into the void.
And I think he does that entirely based on the fact that Shiro's last name is Emiya, right?
Yeah.
Like he's
Pretty
because he
much.
assumes, I guess, that
Yeah, he assumes
that Ilya just lives there.
Well, and he also assumes that Shiro knows more than he does. So when Shiro's
Yeah.
just acts confused, he's just like, "Oh, you don't know shit." Okay, never
Yeah.
mind.
It also shows Zokin may not be as aware of everything going on as he thinks he should be.
Or pretends he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that is fair to say.
yeah. Oh, we'll get into that, but
Yeah, and the I guess that we can talk about kind of towards the end, because that's when we learn more about
big
how
chunk,
how Zokin is kind of fitting into
Oh.
all this.
Did you notice that
Those E cups.
they don't look like E cups in this shot, but no, when she broke the plate.
Yeah.
Yep. She's looking right at his hand, and he's like, "What? What's going on?" Yeah. So. Also-
Is it? Does he have the? Sorry. What do you have a time code for that? Just because.
We were right on it. It's like it's before this.
What is she noticing on
It's
his
right
hand?
around that.
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah, where he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then he turns, boom,
Yeah.
and then she's looking, and then it's like, "Uh-oh, what's going on there?"
Is that his command seal?
Yes, the
developing?
stigmata forming on his hand. So you
Oh,
can see
okay.
it.
This is a little bit of a critical difference between this route and UBW, because in UBW she sees it but doesn't make any connection with her.
Yeah, like
In
she doesn't
UBW.
seem to really connect two and two. Yeah, she doesn't really link that. But in this route, oh boy. So yeah, that's a difference for sure. Yeah, again, there are a couple of little things where you're like, "Oh, that was different. Oh, that was kind of different." They get to see more Shiro's Archer references, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
Again,
Yes.
they're Shiro and Archer not liking each other immediately on the rooftop of the school, which happens several scenes later. Again, that makes a lot more sense if you've seen UBW. And later on, again, a couple of Archer's lines make no sense if you haven't seen UBW and understand it. Because at one point he even references that like things are getting out of control and he can no longer put his personal, his personal interests, at the forefront of what's going on. And so you're like, wait, what's he talking about? So again, if you've only seen this, you're not going to have any fucking clue what he's talking about.
He's like, I gotta find a different world line to pull my shit.
Pretty much. He's just like, yeah, I need to go somewhere else to figure out my shit. Yeah. Oh, goodness.
But yeah, so I guess though after we get the opening credits that gloss over the fight between Lancer and Shiro, I guess, and then Archer and Saber are fighting, and the whole kind of third, second episode, I guess, of UBW,
give or take. Yeah.
It comes back in on the church, and I thought it was kind of neat that Kirei in this version kind of just flat out tells him, he's like, yeah, I'm the one who fought your father in the previous Holy Grail War, and your father won the Holy Grail. Where I don't remember him.
Disaster.
In the in the Unlimited Blade Works, he basically just says someone who is unworthy to touch the Grail won. Like
he doesn't specifically call it out as being Ritsugu.
What event changes that?
That I'm not sure.
Okay, so Caleb, you want to take this?
Well, which event came right before this?
Right before? Well, it's not this one. It's the second conversation he has with Kirei. So who was he carrying at that point?
Oh, well, but so does he say anything in the first conversation?
No, in the first conversation he does not refer to
that student, the one that was
so he comes back with Mitsuzuri.
Yeah.
And
he comes back
Rin
alone.
isn't there with him.
Yeah.
I think that's why, because if he disclosed that he was in the previous Grail War to Rin, he might have a problem on his hands.
Yeah, because Rin would then be able to possibly put together that Kirei killed her father.
Yeah.
And that would be very not good, because she'd be very angry.
Yeah, so and then we were talking about this earlier, that this is kind of our turning point, our big turning point, where it's
so he gets
Shiro getting injured.
Yeah.
And Ilya being, I guess, depressed that Shiro goes down so easy, I thought was interesting. Like, because she did say, okay, I'm going to kill you now, just like she says in the other one. But then it's like she actually does kill him, and she's like, wait, hold on.
No,
that wasn't supposed to be so easy. And
she says it's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the big difference, is because in the first conversation with Kirei, it's very similar to the conversation he has in UBW. It's a little different, but it's mostly the same conversation. It's the second one that changes everything, because he does not return to the church a second time in UBW. In Heavensfield, he does, and he returns alone. And Kirei's like, oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, so this second fight is what kind of really changes it, because had they not walked down this alley and not seen Shinji and Ryder, this fight wouldn't have happened, and that way it really shifts the balance of
what's going on
of Shinji's role in the entire war.
Yeah. Well, again, it's just
I
love
how Saber just absolutely dummying Ryder.
Again, Saber class, pound for pound, best class in the fight. So
Shinji's overconfidence in himself.
Well, I feel sorry for Ryder, because I was like, you your master is a douche.
Dude, Shinji's overconfidence in himself gets him in trouble so fucking often.
Yeah.
If he would just shut the fuck up and not be
especially in this route.
Oh god, yeah. But Shinji is so incompetent as a master, it's just hilarious. Like, he could die right then and there. Like, Saber just draws her blade, just fucking bisects him.
Yeah.
But what I think is pretty great, again, this is the
Team
scene.
E-Cups over here.
Yeah, in my opinion, this is the scene that changes everything. Like, Ilya attacks them in a different place.
Yeah, yes,
things
and
happen, but this is really different.
I agree, but I think it's just the reason I say it was Berserker injuring Shiro is because they would not be in this alley if Berserker didn't injure Shiro.
Yeah,
that changes the time that they're going home, and they just kind of stumble across Shinji and Ryder. And so if the fact that they're not walking by that street at that time makes it so that this whole encounter never happens.
Yeah. But really, again, like, that important thing of like who they're actually with. And he's like, oh, we need to help her. And Saber's like, well, the church should probably be involved in this, since it involves, a servant and stuff. And he's like, okay. And him walking into that church a second time, it just, just completely It shatters the timeline. But yeah.
And yes is TL34IT12. I guess that's how you say that, or is that an acronym
It's
or
an
something?
LT.
LT?
Yeah.
Huh? Anyways.
LT12.
Oh, LT12. Sorry, I thought you meant that it spells LT like LEET L33T. But I was like, I'm not saying that. But yeah, as far as playing the visual novel goes, I just don't really have a way to play it. It's not really available in North America, and
There are videos on YouTube of playthroughs, but those are
I
very
suppose,
dense.
but
Those are very dense, and they're like 70 hours long.
yeah. If only. But
No.
yeah, if I'll say this much though, if Type Moon ever launches it on Steam in North America, I'll buy it just out of support for the franchise.
Yeah,
But,
they won't, because Type Moon doesn't understand that North America and Europe exist. Maps in their office just completely remove South America and that side of the world just completely removed.
Well, hey, we're a year away from the official release of Trails from Zero in North America.
Yeah.
So, things happen. But that is one that I did import and play, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, we'd love to play this, but again, can't where we are. So
or not easily.
Definitely not easily.
Yeah,
Easily and
legally.
legally, yeah.
Yes.
Good old Shiro. Yeah,
But yeah,
here we go. Here we go.
This is so basically he takes sorry, what's the girl's name again?
Mitsuzuri.
Mitsuzuri, yeah.
Mitsuzuri,
I kept on wanting to say Mitsurugi, and I was like, no, that's the samurai from Soul Calibur. But but yeah, and then, well, as I said, this is the conversation where we get him admitting that, or not admitting, but basically kind of talking up the fact that he was in the Grail War fighting against his father. And then this is a real kind of sweet scene where
I loved how it's juxtaposed to the conversation with Kirei, because Kirei's telling it from one angle and Saber's telling it from another angle to Shiro.
Well, it's so funny because Kirei is like, everything he's saying is not a lie. It's like actually the truth. Like everything he's saying is exactly what Kiritsugu did.
Yeah.
And it's, it's almost like he's like praising him in a way, in a weird way.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, because again, Kirei is just so fucking, But yeah, it is sort of like a kind of a praise in a way. It's sort of
I think there's a degree of respect there, because I think Kirei obviously is not a good person, but at the same time, I think that even bad people can be respectful of their enemies. And I think that was a way that he was doing that. He was like, he's like, he won the Grail War. He was he was kind of the biggest problem for me in that war. And I think Saber kind of says here, the priest was his most dangerous rival in that war.
Yeah.
And
so, how surprised were you? Two things. I'm going to start with you, Mark. How surprised were you with how blunt Kirei was in this conversation? And two, how surprised were you with how open Saber was to sharing her past of the previous Grail War? Because she doesn't really do that at all in UBW.
At no point does she really even ever say that she was in the previous Grail War. Never mind that she was Kiritsugu's servant. And so yeah, it was interesting to hear her talking about it here. And I'm not sure why that is exactly, other than it just being a different route, so some different things happen. But
I think I have an idea about that one.
All right. Well, I'll go with Mara, just to get her preliminary thoughts, and then we'll hit you. So.
Well, I'm not necessarily. I'm kind of more shocked about Saber than I am about Kirei, because Kirei I can understand his motivations, because he's all about destabilizing Shiro, and how do you destabilize someone in the Grail War, because Kirei, we know, is a master himself, and that is psychological warfare essentially. So I'm going to kind of take this knife and stick it in you and kind of twist it a little bit to make you look at your father in a different light, even though he's telling the truth about what Kiritsugu did. Shiro was looking at Kiritsugu like a hero, because he saved him after the events of the Grail War. So, and now Kirei is going, well, your dad was kind of like this, and he's kind of twisting that knife a little bit. as he's like going through each of these details. So I'm not exactly surprised there because I'm understanding his motivation. Saber, on the other hand, it's like, oh well, let me just tell you all this exposition about.
Yeah, let me say, yeah.
So that kind of surprised me how she was kind of like forthcoming. But then I could kind of explain that as like, well, Kirei kind of explained it anyway, so might as well just kind of say, hey, like you know, I might
Here's
as well
my
admit my
side,
part.
yeah.
Here's my side. So
Yeah. All right, what you got?
So, I don't think Shiro, at least up to this point, proves himself worthy for one, but also shows that he's worthy of her respect as a human, as a human being. In this one, he lays his life on the line and essentially gets killed for Saber almost right out the gate. Which, if you're a knight and you lay your life on the line for another, that's the most valiantly you can perform.
Yeah, I guess that does make sense.
So now she trusts him a lot more, and he tells her his name, and she's like, I like that name. That's a good name. I like doing it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that that's right about kind of where I am. Is I think it's a difference of respect and it's a difference of understanding. And it's a change between UBW and Heavensfield. Because in UBW, they don't like hate each other, but it's not the same relationship. Where, yeah, him jumping in front, of a bullet, metaphorically speaking, to take one for the team and, help her, sort of recontextualizes him for her. Which is why she's a bit more open and a bit more sharing.
At least in this scene, it kind of shows us she knew in UBW that he was Kiritsugu's son. So has no idea what this kid is, and probably even less trusts him because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, there you go, Eldub. Yeah. Yeah. So I think there's something there with how Kiritsugu approached the Grail War and how Shiro was approaching it is definitely very different. Where in UBW, he's not acting like Kiritsugu by any means, but he is a little more hands off than in Heavensfield. I mean, because again, that fight, Reen fights with Ilya, and they have their magic duel, and Berserker and Saber fight, and Archer gets involved, and in this fight, Archer doesn't even show up. Between Berserker, so. Those differences there, I think, begin to pile up where it's like a small tweak here and there, and it just really starts to stack up the more you go on, where it's like this route isn't even recognizable anymore. It's just a totally different thing. But yeah.
Yeah, and that continues throughout the course of this the runtime here. Because what do we have happening? Yeah, this is just still them talking about Kiritsugu.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a little bit of
Yeah.
like the white knightery when he sees that bruise on her face. I think though it's interesting when we see him storming through the hallways here. You're kind of thinking he's gonna like find Shinji and knock him out, and then Reen stops him in a scene that is kind of like exactly the same as the thing that happens in UBW, where the time that Reen fights him. When she's like, how dare you show up here without your servant? Don't you know that like anyone here could kill you? What if I try to kill you? And in this one, he just kind of storms up the stairs right away, grabs her on the shoulders, then just bows his head, and he's like, please, Tosaka, I need some advice.
And
I was like, oh. And she's just
blown
like,
away.
what? Yeah, she's just like, I didn't see that coming. Okay.
yeah.
And
How am I supposed to attack you now?
Yeah, again, very different. But what's interesting is that like the advice she gives him is just like, well, have Sakura stay at your place, and clearly there's some, more evidence there about them being, sisters. She's like, oh, I'll keep her out of harm's way, keep her safe at your place,
Yeah, and when he says like, yeah, it's Sakuramoto, you see her like go,
yeah, she kind of clenches a little bit. She's like,
She's defeated.
Yep.
and
Yeah,
is
Reen
this
got the
where,
memo. This is not her route.
Yeah, he's just like, yeah, I don't really want to get her involved because then Shinji's involved, and I don't want to have her in danger. And she's like, well, just have her stay at your place. Have her stay at your house. That would keep her safe, right? And he's like, that's not a bad idea, actually. I'll do that. Good old Shiro. Yeah. Then you get
We
more
got a little home time with Sakura and Saber.
Yep. Yep.
Not a bad situation Shiro's got back home.
No, it's pretty good. But yeah. good old Taiga. I love how Taiga's always there, always waiting for food. Like, regardless of anything else that's going on, she's always just like, I want fucking food.
Oh, we got Miss Martin Muses with the super sticker. Thank you very much, Miss Martin Muses. It's always appreciated in the JoJo's Gums fund.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know. And then it's a similar scene actually to what happens when Shiro just notices that Saber has like clothes on that seem like civilian clothes, and she's like, "Oh, Reen brought these over for me." And in this one, it's Reen gives the clothes to Shiro, and Shiro brings them home. So it's not a huge difference. But
yeah,
like
but again, it's like those little twists. It's a little difference, and again, those stack up.
And then here, this is a real big change.
Yep.
Yeah, this is
I was
this
like,
is a major
when this
one.
happened, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like, that didn't happen.
Yeah, everything about it I had questions with, though it did, I guess, make more and less sense from UBW, where there was a scene in like one of the last episodes where you see Assassin's like rib cage torn open, and you sort of think that it's I don't know, like Caster casting some kind of spell on him, but it seems that like did the entire time he had this assassin creature inside him, like because when Medea sees him, she says like, "You're the true assassin," as if she was expecting that. And
I got it as shock because she was like, I think she was duped as well.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. So is it that, like, I don't know, like, was Zoken always the assassin's master, and it's just Medea, like, stole him, but then never let the true assassin thing emerge?
No, in UBW, there was no actual assassin summoned.
Oh,
so
okay.
Caster summoned assassin, nobody summoned a real assassin, so
this is kind of what I was talking about. There's a shot similar to this in UBW, except he's talking.
Well, I think that Caster punished him in one regard.
Yeah,
she was
Caster kind of pulling his ribs and stuff.
Yeah. So that was her kind of like saying, I brought you into this world, I can take you out, essentially.
Yeah.
So essentially that's fake assassin, because that's not a real assassin. There's no real master behind it. Essentially just a shell that guards the, area. But what has come out of his chest is the true assassin.
Yeah,
so Zoken performed the incantation to summon a real assassin.
And it has the same mask as the assassins from Fate Zero.
Yeah.
In a way.
And
he also mentions protection against the wind when you're crossing the desert. And I remember from Phase Zero, the opening, the assassin was in the desert, or at least a desert environment. So
yeah, so
which would make sense because the Hassan order,
yeah,
they were from Damascus and kind of the Middle East.
So this is Hassan of the Cursed Arm, as we see later, with his mobile phantasm. Then you have Hassan of the 100 Face, which is who we saw in Fate Zero. And there is another Hassan that we see, we don't see, you can read if you want to read Fate Strange Fake, which I do highly recommend. But another version of Hassan shows up in that story as well.
Yeah, the one who calls people crackers and gets banned off Twitch.
Yeah, so...
but
that's the sort of thing where there are different aspects of the order, because it's an order of assassins, so there's different sort of forms they can take, and there's there's the king, which you can summon. I think that's in Grand Order, Fate Grand Order, the mobile game. I think you can summon one of the sons. Anyway, but yeah, so there are different kinds of assassin.
Andrew Matthews for 5 English Pans is purple a natural hair color in anima. I think in the Fate universe, it is because
Pretty much,
there are a few characters with purple hair.
Yeah,
And
pretty much, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
basically just like black hair, but like
Pretty much,
a
yeah.
color to it.
Yeah, at the same time, we do have like there's characters with, as Wade was saying, like there's characters with blue hair in a lot of animes as well
Yep.
too. I think knowing with the roots of anime being in Japan, where 100% across the board everyone's hair is black. If they want to give people different hair colors, it's sort of like, well, if we're gonna just establish norms about this world's version of Japan having people with different hair colors, why not make some of them blue and purple? Like, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, and I guess there's probably a lot of crazy hair dyeing that goes on in Japan. They're very fashion forward people. But at least in the Fate universe, yes, purple and blue are definitely
stuff like
things
that.
that
Yeah.
happen. Speaking of blue hair, we have Elf Waifu coming up next. And her master here, who both of which do not play nearly as big a role in Heaven's Feel as they did in UBW.
Queen.
Like she is essentially the main antagonist for a good chunk of UBW.
Yeah.
She's in 2 scenes.
Yep, she's in 2 scenes and then she's immediately killed.
She becomes the puppet.
Oh yeah, we see that later as well. Yeah,
And it's interesting that in UBW we don't see her face until the last time we see her, whereas here we see her face before we even see her in her
normal caster outfit. Yeah,
in her usual outfit, which is kind of neat. And so now I guess not our. What did you say it was? The arm?
Hassan of the cursed arm. Yeah, because of his. Well, you see his noble phantasm later, Zevania.
Yeah,
so,
the big long arm.
Boom.
Yeah, that's where he does.
I thought it was kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, he stabs her, but he uses his noble phantasm on Lancer because he realizes Lancer's like projectiles don't work on me, so you're not not gonna work.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's like probably my biggest criticism. And that's like best boy gets taken out again.
Oh yeah, no, several servants get murked in this first movie. So yeah, Castor gets murked. Stabbed.
Well, I thought what was interesting is she stabs herself with Rule Breaker as if to
free him.
To free him, but then why does he immediately kill her?
Because her usefulness is over.
Well, then why did she let him go? Like that's what I don't.
Well, she wanted to say. Well, she wanted to save, her husbando.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Of course, she dives in front of a bunch of swords in UBW to save his life. So
he stabs her, but then immediately throws the knife into his head.
Yeah, he's just like sling.
Yeah.
Like he starts getting up and boom.
Yeah.
That's
very matter of fact, wide shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But this guy seems to sort of move like a grasshopper or like a cricket. Or what's the other kind of thing? The cicada.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like jumps
because even though he was summoned, because of the magic she did on Fake Assassin, he's still kind of fucked. So he's just like, I need to get released so I can actually leave. Because technically, the assassin is still bound to the area, so that's Oh, right, and then we have this.
Here's the dream where he's like, "Wow, I'm having this dream about touching up Reen's boob, and then I open my eye, and it's the old E-cups there."
So and he puts it up, and his hand is still out, and he
and then he does a little bump. This is look, this is the best.
I love that he just
the double bump. Like he's just like wait.
Double bump. So my question is, was that really a dream?
In this universe, anything is possible. So probably it's at least.
I think I got that it was a dream because he wakes up in his bed. But
can you roll back to Reen?
I could try. It's kind of. Oh yeah, and she's got the rider eyes.
Rider's eyes.
Yeah, and she's biting him.
Yeah.
Just like that, like vampiring him. And as we, yeah, I mean, Ryder's no slouch in the boob department either. So
So I don't know, but yeah.
Basically, this is my favorite thing in all the Fate series.
I do love when he's just like he does it after the fact. He's just like, oh, I guess it was just a dream. Oh well.
Yeah. It's a
But of
shame.
course, it's interesting because I love the way that the next scene is framed when he gets up and Sakura's cooking breakfast. Though I really like the way it's framed, where he's like hyper focused on her lips, and he's just like, fuck, stop it, like because like he's really high. I love that it shows him walking into the room and it immediately cuts to a close up of her mouth. And then it cuts back to him, and he's kind of shaking his head. So it's like, okay, so it was showing you directly at what he was looking at, which is, I think, pretty fun.
Now let's see if we can catch that here. Yeah, I guess it's her cooking.
Yeah, it's
dinner.
her
Yeah,
cooking,
he's
and
looking over.
He's
He's
watching
like,
her, and then when she turns around and she takes a drink of the broth, yeah, it cuts right to him focusing on her lips, and he's just like, so
he's like, oh my, maybe having this girl live here was either
was a bad
the
idea.
worst idea or the best idea. We'll
only 2 more movies to find out.
Yeah. Yeah. So. But yeah, I love that. Again, I like visual storytelling. I know we talked about that a lot when we talked about Arcane, is how much there's like visual stuff where like you don't need to be told. It'll just show you, and this is a really good example of that, where it's just like it's showing you what he's seeing, and it's showing you how he's reacting. You don't need anything else. So that's what I like. It's just purely visual. Use your art form to its advantage.
Can you guys hear me? I think my
Yeah, I can hear you.
USB. Okay, let's ignore. Yeah, so my camera's USB card was just being detected by VLC as like a storage media, and I'm like, no. And then it said, your microphone has been disconnected. I was like, oh, God.
No.
What's happening here? Yeah, so is this the scene where Archer kind of gives him shit?
Yeah. And again, it's assuming you've seen UBW. It's really important because him and Shiro just start throwing shade almost immediately. Like, almost, they just do not like each other.
Reen's just like, no, you will not.
Look at it, they're just in each other's presence, and they're just agitated immediately, which I think is wonderful. Oh, man.
Piss off, old man.
Yeah.
Well, we know the truth about you two.
Yep.
So.
That's the other thing, that's the other important thing.
Oh, and you can also see she's used both her command seals.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, and then you have him sort of training a little bit with Saber, and then you have the thing, which is like oh, this one, yeah, he just the angst where he can't stop thinking about what's been going on these past couple days, and he's just like, I'm so pissed.
Yeah. He's white knighting so hard his face gets blown up.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, like I guess I don't know. I could relate to that. I think if I had a crush on a girl who I knew was being like physically beaten by someone who lived in her house, that'd be a tough thing to deal with.
How do I not commit murder?
Yeah. Seriously.
Damn. And if I do, how do I get away with it?
Yep. Pretty much how it goes. So it's like.
Yep.
Well,
especially because
the important thing is I have found a dog.
Oh.
You can cuddle and get the aggression. Be like, okay, I'm not feeling as aggressive now. Thank you, dog. But yeah, then we get to the scene, which I'm surprised that Shiro was able to be as restrained as he was, because he really was not. Yeah. Oh, this scene. Ooh, there's some good dialogue here. There's a lot of good shit in this scene. Okay. So, I guess Caleb, do you want to start us off here? Because there's quite a bit of dialogue in this scene that's, I think, kind of important as to their relationship.
Yeah, this one's a pretty heavy conversation, because like basically both of them are talking about how they've been adopted.
Say like it's hardly
all I see is Harley's eyes. There you go.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, her eyes are like
Yeah, just the piercing eyes in the background.
You
Yeah.
gotta, like,
There you
amp
go.
up-
Hey,
This is how much
Harley.
light is required to make Harley visible on camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except for her tongue and her eyes when the light's off, like she blends like right into your shirt. So,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
aw.
Well, there you go, Harley.
Aw.
My sweet little baby.
Elda asked what Rin's second command seal was. Like, what'd she use it for in this route? Because I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what she used the second command seal for in UBW. Like
To
when
keep
she
him,
used
to
it.
keep Archer from trying to kill Shiro. In
Is it-
episode
wait,
7,
I
when he
thought that
gets,
was the. Oh yeah, you're right. In the first
in episode
one,
7, he
is,
gets caught by sorceress bitch, and then
the first command seal was she made him like obey everything that. So she
Yeah.
used the command seal to make him
Yeah.
like obey absolutely everything, and then the second one is like you will not kill Shiro right now. So you like
Mhm.
use this to keep.
So
stopping
what
him.
Mhm.
What'd she use the second for this time around?
What
Well, that-
indeed?
Yeah, interesting. I don't know.
What do you think, Harley?
Well, Harley's hoping it has something to do with Sakura Z cups. Harley's
yeah.
got like 10
Make
boobs,
her breasts
so
bigger.
She's really
Yeah.
obsessed with boobs,
Yeah.
this Harley bear.
So we
on her.
start out with the scene where Reen was also watching, but that doesn't come up until she shares her mana with
Mm-hmm.
Shiro.
Shiro.
And so this time around it comes up much sooner.
Yep.
But both times it signifies that signifies the route, it signifies the bond between those two.
Mm-hmm.
And so like she's essentially confessing to him right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She was like talking about how she wanted him to just sort of give up and stop trying or just, fucking screw it up, and he just kept going on and on and on. Yeah, which is pretty great. Well, also then she asks, so like if I do something bad, whatever, and talk about how like I'll admonish you stronger than anyone else. So there's a lot of good stuff here between the two of them. I like that they let that kind of settle. They didn't take their time, or they took their time and they didn't rush it, which is good. Because this whole sequence is really important for the both of them.
I think that if I became a bad person, would you forgive me? Was probably the most important line from that entire conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And his response is equally as important.
Oh yeah.
What does he say?
He says, I wouldn't forgive you. I would admonish you, and I would hold you up. What was it like? I would discipline you more than any other person.
Mm-hmm. I would admonish you and strongly than any other person. Yeah.
I think it's neat here too that the high jumps, it's Sakura watching him do the high jumps.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I totally understood that. Is it both of them did?
Yeah, both of them did.
And were they both at just different parts of the school? Like, did they
Pretty
know that
much.
they were both? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because so Sakura's inside, and if you remember, Reen's up there by the steps on the other
Yeah,
end,
yeah.
on the other side, looking
that's kinda
down
what
on
I was
him.
thinking.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, is this? They both have these fond memories of watching Shiro fail at high jump practice. Like,
And Reen said that she kept hoping that he would succeed. Sakura said she kept hoping he would realize he's just gonna continue failing. She wanted him to quit. Reen never said she wanted him to quit.
Interesting.
Yep, very telling. Yeah. Yeah, but again, that whole scene at the end where, she's like, if I become a bad person, if I do bad things, will you forgive me and all that stuff? He's like, nope, I'm going to admonish you stronger than anyone else and more, intently than anyone else. And she said that would be good coming from him. That would be okay coming from him, which is, I think, again, that entire sequence is like very telling.
Yeah, I think Wade gets it. Toxic.
Toxic shit. Yeah. Oh goodness.
But okay, what's up next here? So we've got. Okay,
yeah.
so I guess I thought it was neat that this goes to the scene of the first big fight in Fate Zero, the setting.
Oh yeah, it's very similar. Where it might be even the same general area. With,
Yeah,
like, the
I
crane
got
and
that
all
it was
stuff.
the same dock with like the big crane and everything, and
where your Scander shows up and stuff.
but yeah, so it's we got a big fight between Lancer and Assassin that Yeah, gets looks very expensive. Like
That budget works.
it's like it's pretty clear that they're doing this as like I'm guessing theatrical movies because
Oh yeah, they were
it
theatrical
seemed-
released and all that stuff.
yeah, it seems that this is in general. I've noticed that the animation seems a couple steps above Unlimited Blade Works, but it like this scene in particular, I was like, oh, like shit, this looks like they broke the budget on this one. Like it looks like a scene from a Matrix film or something.
Yeah, it's just like it was they definitely have a lot of funding for this one. I mean, they made so much goddamn money on these movies, especially in Japan. So,
Well, yeah, and like,
definitely worth
I
it.
think that they've solidified how much money they can make off a theatrically released anime. With Mugen Train made I think like more money than any Japanese film ever.
Yeah, like Ufotable, they know where the money is, which is why I think they might do if they do the Fate route, it's going to be in 2024 for the 20th anniversary, and they're going to release 3 movies. Oh, thank you, Wade.
Yeah, Wade. Here, I gotta go to the actual chat to see what he posted, or is it?
I think it's just $1 because it'll say
single dollar, no super sticker. Oh wow, I didn't even realize you could do that. But thank you, Wade. The dollar is always appreciated. Wade Rutherford with the $1 super nothing. Not super chat, not super sticker.
Nothing.
It's just
I'm
super donation, I guess. It's I didn't mean to.
Yeah. I want a Netflix adaptation of Netflix. We had a conversation the other day. It made me laugh so hard where he was talking about Death Note, and he said, "I want an adaptation of Netflix's Death Note." Yeah. So he wants an adaptation of the adaptation.
An anime adaptation of Netflix's Death Note.
Yeah. I was laughing so hard. It was so funny. He's like, I want an adaptation of the adaptation. I'm like,
it'll be just like the anime of Death Note, but with a lot of 80s soft rock music and shitty characters.
Yeah, which I just think is the funniest thing. Oh my god, yeah.
I still say though that like it's the meme that I've been sharing every time Netflix announces any new adaptation of anything in live action. I'm just like, man, just keep on making animated adaptations of video games. That's your zone, Netflix.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, clearly,
like Arcane and Castlevania are both great.
Oh yeah, fantastic. So I'll go ahead and say right now, Mr. 3412, that mark my words, if it does not happen by 2024, it's not happening. They are either going to wait until the 20th anniversary of the visual novel in order to redo the Fate route, or they're not going to do it. Period. Like that. Mark my words. I can pretty much. I 100% guarantee it. That's how confident I am in that. If they do not do it in 2024, never going to happen. So, and I think that would be ridiculous. I think Sony, Aniplex, everybody has a lot of skin in the game in regards to that. In terms of the franchise, Type Moon, they can make a lot of money. So I think they will do it in 2024, but if not going to happen. So.
Well, Harley's looking forward to it because Harley's always thought that Saber is best girl.
Yeah. Oh man! Oh yeah, this scene's great too when he just like and just completely destroys the truck and it explodes. Yeah, it's just like
I mean, this fight is good, but with L-Dub, like he got done dirty in this one.
Oh yeah. Assassin being assassin.
Yeah.
Cheating lying bastard.
To be fair, like Kirei does say later that Lancer wouldn't have died in a normal battle, and we wouldn't exactly call this a normal battle.
Yeah, the only reason he lost is because of that thing. Otherwise, he would have totally bodied Assassin for sure.
Yeah.
Because
and the thing, like those sort of, they kind of look to me like the same. The same sort of ribbon things that that come out of the Grail in Fate Zero towards the end of it.
Yeah.
Like so I didn't quite understand what this power was. Like so is that his noble phantasm?
Like
the ribbons or just the arm?
Just the arm.
Okay.
Yeah, Zevania. Yeah.
So what are those ribbons?
Zevania.
The ribbon things, those like red.
What are those ribbons indeed?
What are those ribbons indeed? Yeah, you stole the words literally right out of my mouth as I was saying them, Caleb. God damn it. What are some theories, I guess? What are some general ideas of what they could be?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they're tied to the Grail in some way.
Okay.
Which, I mean, I guess is about as vague as you can get.
Well, not a bad
search
guess.
For $2, Sakura's best girl. Thank you. I'd be inclined to agree after I learned about the E-cups. But yeah, no, back to the ribbons. I don't know. Like, I mean, the
ribbons
again,
are tied to that entity that's imaginary space.
Imaginary space was that was a very good that was a very good one.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a great identifier of who that
is. It takes us again. It's so good that we watched Garden of Sinners because it takes us back to Garden of Sinners. What was the origin of Shiki?
The origin of Shiki.
Yeah. So like that identity we see in the epilogue.
Oh, that it was the two personalities within the one body.
Yeah, and her the origin being void and nothingness. Yeah.
So the ribbons are like an extension of the void.
Quite possibly.
Perhaps.
Well, it's
maybe
something along those lines because you see, I mean, this is like further down. We see Saber floating in a void, like I guess state, for one better way of putting it, and then you have what does it swallow first? Because like that thing swallows someone. Like Shiro pushed Rain out of the way, but it swallowed something else for Caster. Yeah, Caster.
Well, it's about to swallow Caster because if you go back a little bit, Mark.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because it swallows Fake Assassin first, the darkness, the ooze, the secret of the ooze, and then it grabs Caster, but Caster gets grabbed in this scene, but of course Lancer got grabbed before that, so you have 3 servants now that have been got. So clearly there's something happening here. Of course, so there was like a line going across the ground. This whatever it was, Shiro touches it, and then sees a bunch of stuff. I would go back and look at that frame by frame if you have time. That's all I'll say.
Okay.
I really like the colors on like the black and red ribbons. I love how it's like they always make it stand out as something that like it almost doesn't belong in this movie.
Yeah, like it's something so stark that you're just like it doesn't even match the art style borderline, or it's like so different. Yeah. Oh, Sakura being like, "He's my man. This isn't your route either, bitch."
I love that because I was like, oh, she is that is a queen bee move. Like stepping
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you got purple hair and E-cups. No? Okay. I guess he's mine then.
Yeah. And then you have
Sakura, best girl.
And well, now you have a third conversation with Kirei. So now we're getting even. I mean, we're already so far off the fucking rails compared to UBW. It's crazy. But this is just like, what? He's having a third conversation with the Kirei? What the fuck? So, yeah. So there's some stuff. Yeah, some stuff here. But
you cannot like tell that he doesn't like Kirei because Kirei is like, it's like, you sure you don't want to eat? It's like hell, I would eat with you.
Yeah, he's like, I would rather die than eat with you, and he's like, okay, so I guess we're no on the curry then. Okay. Oh man.
It's like, I love how this is delicious.
I love how disgusting Kirei eats. Like, I love how like he just like he's so gross. He's just like such a disgusting human being.
The restaurant they're in really reminds me of an old kind of hole in the wall Chinese place I would eat like super late at night in Toronto. And it was $4 pork fried rice you could get there. That was just the best. It was open till like 2 a.m. Harley, that's right.
There's some. He's so. Woo.
Oh man, he's ferocious. He'll maul your face off.
Yeah, she doesn't like Kirei
Harley's
either.
A girl.
Vicious.
Go Harley.
He's so sweaty in these scenes too.
Oh yeah, he's daddy in these scenes. He was like, yeah, there he is.
Sexy Kirei hours.
Sexy Kirei hours. Oh goodness. Yeah. I love that here Kirei's just like, hey, what'd you see last night? And he's like, oh, well, Zoken was like controlling a caster with like bugs and shit. He's like, oh, what else did you see, buddy? And he's like, I'm
not at liberty to talk about that.
yeah, he's like, I can't really confirm or deny I saw anything else last night. And he's like, well, okay. All right then, buddy.
This is also a very strange way to react to losing your servant and essentially being like cut out of the Grail War.
Mm-hmm. Good old Kirei, man. Good old Kirei.
Like, is he relieved? Or is he like plotting his next move?
Well, he could be plotting his next move because in like UBW, it was like just about flat out stated that he never bothered to learn anything about his servant. So it doesn't seem like he would be entirely crushed if he lost his servant. Because Kirei's the type of personality that would have a plan B in his back pocket, no matter what.
Oh yeah. He motherfucker be plotting. Yeah. But I'm just laughing about the whole I'd rather die than eat with you, which is pretty funny.
Yeah. It was like, oh well, let me know your true feelings, Shiro.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It would be really funny if Kirei got like unreasonably offended, like was just like, "Hey, whoa, dude!
I was gonna buy you lunch, bro.
Notch,
Calm
man."
down. Yeah. He acts like perturbed.
I said I fought your father. I didn't say I wanted to fight him. Like, God, I didn't kill the guy. Jesus.
I mean, I did, but I mean, he got right back up.
No more so than he killed me.
That's true. We both killed each other. That's what friends do. I crushed his heart. He fucking shot me in the fucking chest. There you go.
We got up, had a beer. It was all good.
Yep.
Now here Shiro is having the talk with Reen. So I'm into your sister.
Yeah. Well, really, they're just kind of formulating a plan because like there are some issues because you have Zoken that's running around on the loose. You have whatever the fuck that thing is, black and red thing, and of course Kirei in the previous scene was like, hey, it's probably going to be at the temple, so I would go search there. And Shiro's like, you're right, I will go search there. So that's essentially what you got is there. You're going to the temple, him and Saber, and you have Archer and them looking over and trying to figure out where Zoken's at. So
you gotta give it up to Ufotable to making Reen even more admirable, like in terms of the character design in this route. Like she's not even the main character, but Ufotable's still like, but we still love Reen.
Yeah, with the nines, yeah. Mm-hmm. Good old Zoken. Ugh.
Yeah. Bugman.
I love how he forms right here. It's just so great. The motherfucker is like a motherfucking like Dark Souls looking ass boss.
Yeah,
he's just so unnerving when he comes in. I was like, I actually just get chills.
Yeah, he's a evil boy. Good old fucking.
It's interesting seeing Saber fight an assassin kind of toe to toe like this too, because you'd figure that this should be a fight that's over before it begins, but I think because his mobility kind of makes him a bit more of a threat. Like I think that it's funny you mentioned Dark Souls there. I just imagine like if I were fighting someone in an invasion in Dark Souls and they went full like Havel armor. Oh. Did it?
What?
Did it?
It says stream unavailable, stream suspended for policy violations.
Oh, great.
Oh. No, I guess if
We showed too much.
Huh?
I guess if you stop sharing for a bit, it might come back up.
Yeah.
What?
Okay. Probably for the footage we've been showing. That being said, I think this has all been fair use. So.
Yeah, I guess it's not as lenient as UBW. So.
I'll just type that. Hopefully, we'll be back up soon.
So I guess they can't hear us right now.
No, they can't.
They can.
They cannot.
Cannot. Well, that sucks. Oh, there we are. We're back.
Are we back? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, perhaps we'll try to do the rest of the show without showing any footage, because apparently
Or maybe like show the scene and take it off real fast or something like that, so we know like what.
Or just like still images.
To be fair, I have been very liberal about the footage I was showing and the amounts, but
Well, I think it's just because we were spoiled on UBW. Because again, for some reason, and I don't know why, they
don't seem to claim
they
UBW
don't seem to
stuff,
claim UBW stuff for some reason. Because like none of the UBW discussions got claimed, did they?
No.
And we showed a lot of footage from those.
Not even a claim. Never mind a strike.
Yeah. So
I think for Fate Zero, we actually got a strike for one, and I had to contest it. But so we have the ribbons attacking Saber, and
yeah.
Well, I mean, luckily we're pretty much at the end here. This is just kind of our last big showdown where we have Zoken kind of messing up Shiro and putting him in sort of a desperate position.
Yep.
And then sort of a twist happening, I guess is probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. Certain somebody shows back up.
Chain Mommy's back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was happy about this because I've been wanting to see more of the UBW or the Stay Night, I guess, rider since she died unceremoniously in UBW, and I didn't think we'd be seeing any more of her. But hold on one sec, I'm almost at where I can get a good clip of it that I can.
This
show.
fight was good because in a way it was a fight between, like, when I say unnatural fighters, I mean kind of like, we have Lancer. He has like, he's more of like what you would like see is like, like how Saber fights. Ryder, on the other hand, has more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Unconventional weapons, much like what Assassin has. So it's a much more of an unconventional fight, and I think she's probably why she could hold her own better against him, like versus like how Lancer kind of fared.
Yep. And then of course I do love I love that showing back up. Did you expect this at all, or did you assume she was out?
No, I assumed she was out.
Yeah, because well, I mean, she disappeared, and she disappeared in a way where I was like, oh, well, okay, she must have been like Shinji the douche must have shocked her so much that she kind of like just like she was like beaten up, and then he like was trying to get her to stand, and he fucked up his own way by like destroying the book that he was holding. But then she comes back, and Shiro's ready to kind of like defend himself against her, and he's like, "Oh, you're fine," and she just disappears.
She disappears, yeah.
The hint was that he didn't have command seals on his hand. He was using the book to control her.
Yep, which proceeded to burn up and shit. Okay. So yeah,
didn't work in his favor at the end there.
Nope, it did not.
Even the grandfather's like, "You're useless." That comes in.
The motto line ends here.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah. And so then it begs the question of like, who's Ryder really working for, all that stuff. But I think what's interesting.
Does it not? Wait, I feel like we find out here, don't we?
No, I mean, she disappears, but she's to me like she's like at least working or like serving under someone who's at least I guess more chivalrous in like combat. Like
did I just do the math on this, or did
you do the math on that?
I think I did. Yeah, because I mean, in my head, I'm just like, okay, so Sakura's her master, right? Like,
I don't remember.
I don't
honestly,
remember
like, to
the point that I could have sworn that was made abundantly clear, and now I'm thinking like, oh wait, did I just say, oh, of course. Of course, Sakura, because she's defending Shiro.
Now, Mark, I don't know. I feel like I didn't see anything about Sakura being her master in this movie.
Oh wow. Oh, I mean, I guess there's a possibility that I'm wrong then.
But is that your assumption going into the second movie?
I haven't seen the second movie yet.
I'm just saying, is that going to be your assumption going into the second movie?
Yeah, because I thought, honestly, I thought it was I thought it was clear as day. And now with you guys being like, oh yeah, who's controlling her? I was like, wait, you guys don't know? I was like, did I just put that together in my head and was so certain of it that I actually thought it was explicitly stated?
Yeah, I think it's a safe assumption given that she came in to protect Shiro, and he Green already has Archer, so
maybe it's also because I know that this is the Sakura arc. Like it's it would make sense if she had more to do with this route than she did in the previous one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I was 100% convinced of it. To the point that if it's anything else, I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah.
Jeez, try to get a solid freeze frame here. We don't want to get claimed.
Yeah, our stream's about to go down again.
No. Yeah.
It's the motion blur effect.
Oh yeah, there you go. She's fucking stabbing him through the fucking shoulder. That's gotta hurt. But yeah. So she bodies him pretty good. Which Wade was talking about that earlier. I know because we watched this again yesterday about there being almost sort of like a hierarchy. It's like a rock paper scissors thing, but just with more steps where like certain servants just do pretty good against other servants. I mean, of course, to be fair, Ryder did kill Assassin in Fate Zero, so
yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And yeah, I think though what I was going to say about I think we got kind of thrown off because I just now remembered it because you said the rock paper scissors thing before we got taken down. What I was gonna say is if I was in a Dark Souls invasion situation and someone was in full blown like ultra heavy Havel armor and had like a big great sword or a massive club or something like that, that's a pretty powerful enemy to fight. But I think that if I could play in that match using like Sekiro, I feel like I would mess up whoever's wearing the heavy armor. So just because Saber's got the sort of grounded, ultra powerful, like rooted in the very stable fighting style that's very strong, I think that if you're an assassin and you're bouncing around with a lot of mobility, that can it can even things out quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I think that what's interesting about this fight is it seems like both the two of these fighters they're kind of fighting on the same terms. They're both super agile, very mobile, very quick. And,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're both unconventional in their fighting techniques. Mm-hmm. By comparison to when Assassin was fighting Lancer. Like Lancer was mobile, but
I'm still not 100%. I still don't quite get why this servant is a rider, though, because, unless it's the chain, does the chain move and she rides by grabbing onto the chain and following along with it? Or, I mean, there's the obvious sex joke you can make, but I'm going to assume that that's not the thing she rides.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to find out if we do find that out, because... But okay. So now, what else really do we don't have?
Well, you essentially have because you have Assassin who like, oh well, shit, this isn't good, and he gets the fuck out, and Shiro's like, you into me? And he's like, oh, you're okay, cool, and then she jets, and so he's left alone looking for Saber, who he doesn't find, and then you see Saber sort of underwater. Yeah, there you go, and then. She's like, I'm going to get the grail. I got to get it, and then she turns around.
She's in the sunken place, in Get Out.
Oh, yeah, there you go. And then she turns around and sees herself, which is interesting.
With the eyes, the kind of rider eyes.
Yeah, yellow eyes.
Here,
they aren't quite rider eyes. They don't have this. They don't have rectangular pupils.
That's true. That's true.
Rectangular. Here, we'll see in a sec. Sorry, I can't have this on display, so
no.
I'm almost at it though. I'm seeing the back of Evil Saber here. Long shot, panning up, and it stopped before the eyes. Wait, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Almost kind of like snake-like. Like yellow with the sort of thinner pupils.
Yep. Yeah, very, yeah.
The yellow
Oh,
eyes,
yeah.
funny enough, have a Star Wars connection.
Yeah,
Sith Lord Saber.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good comparison, actually, now that I think about it. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can say. I guess, are there any theories as to what's going on there between Saber and herself?
Well, I mean, she gets sort of wrapped up by the ribbons, right? And so is this her like in the void place?
Assassin says like she. How does he put it?
Confront her inner darkness instead of having me take her heart. Yeah.
Yeah. So that might be her inner darkness that she's seeing in the void, which I think kind of translates to. I mean, not saying this is her only regrets, but Mordred, like what she had to do to Mordred, most likely on the battlefield.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm muted. Sith Lord Saber.
And her wanting to go back, and she wants the Grail in the first place to kind of have a total redo and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, not pull the sword from the stone to begin with and never become king.
So it's like she has a very strong will, even though she's been pulled into this void.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so we'll get into that later. We'll probably not get into that now, but just keep that in the back of your mind as you watch the second movie.
Soccer's so good she'll wait outside in the cold for hours for your arrival.
Waiting for Shiro. Yeah.
I saw the scene. And it's like you're still gonna be friend zoned. I just feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's
I don't know. Is E-Cup attempting to mark?
We'll see what happens in the second movie.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Imagine just being Shiro's buddy and be like, "Look, she's got E-Cups, man. Come on."
Yeah. Archer's
What
just
are you
like,
doing?
Archer's like, I'm you from the future. I never tapped that, and I've always regretted it. Get you some, for the love of God. Like he literally like kicks down his door like in the middle of the night, and he's just like, "Are you trying to attack me like Lancer?" He's like, "No, listen to me. I'm you, but from the future. Look at our eyebrows." And Shiro's like, "Holy shit, we are the same person." And he's like,
"How did you not see this sooner?
How did you not see this sooner? Our eyebrows are so obvious." And he's like, "Fuck, I'm stupid. Yes, you are."
Anyway, that's not what's important. That's not what's important.
That's not what's important. Listen to me. Yeah. You see that fine hussy in the other room with those massive honkers?
You don't even seem like you're
motorboated those things. I never went, "Brr," and I've always regretted it. I've always felt like if I could just at one time, my life would be better. So you better go in there and get it done.
Listen, man, I'm stuck in here with A-Cup Tosaka, and I'm about to lose my mind.
I'm about to go fucking ballistic. You have any idea what it's like to see you shacking up with this fine woman, and I'm stuck with that bitch over there. Yeah, the house is great, and your house is a lot smaller, but still. Oh. Like,
why don't you go hook up with her now then? Look, she's 16, okay? I'm 207.
I'm way too old, and I exist outside space-time. It's very complicated.
Do you see this hair? It is gray. I am way above my prime right now.
Yeah, I don't even think I could perform. Oh, man.
Yeah, come to think of it, you do still look pretty young for how gray your hair is. When do I go gray? Like 22, 25?
You go gray very early, Shiro.
Is it pre-30? Like, really?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. You better tap that shit, so help me God, Shiro, or I will kill you.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, Archer. Yeah, shucks, Archer.
Oh, jeez.
I think we found out the reason why. I think we found out the real reason why Archer came back to take out Shiro.
Yeah, he killed Shiro, has Sakura all to himself. Yeah. Oh, that'd be amazing.
Like you're too stupid to do it now, so I'll just take you out.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah.
Well,
so,
yeah, I guess though that's pretty much it for this
Yeah.
episode.
that's about it.
We only
for
got
this
taken
movie.
down once, so
Yeah, yeah, we'll just be a little more lenient next time. Get more still frames and just kind of show stuff. Of course, that'll be what Mark. What I would recommend is when you're watching the second movie, write down timestamps. Like, oh, I want to show this frame. I want to show this frame. I want to show this frame, and just kind of like space it out for yourself, so you have like notes that you can just go to instead of like pulling it up and down, up and down. You can just immediately just click to it, click to it, click to it, which I think will be a little bit quicker, easier, and it won't get us down because we won't be showing any footage. So I think that'll be best for you.
yeah, maybe if I can find the time to do 2 viewings, because I don't want to be writing timestamps down when I'm watching it for the first time, because I want to be paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess how do you guys want to wrap this up? Are we doing,
Well, I guess just I'll start with you, Mark. Just kind of your final thoughts on this movie. Where are you at? Where are you putting it? Where are you placing it as of right now? Comparing it and thinking about it with like Fate Zero, UBW, Karno, Kyokai, and now this.
It's sort of hard to rate it on its own because of how much context from Unlimited Blade Works you need in order to even understand like the events of the movie. However, as like a companion piece to Unlimited Blade Works, I think that off the bat it's really awesome, because I think that kind of, especially almost like them doing the first 40 minutes of just like, yeah, the events are pretty much the same, you're just seeing different stuff. You sort of think you know what's gonna happen. So then when it starts twisting and going in a totally different direction, it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
This is really getting nuts here. I like the tone of it being a lot darker, and seems like the blood's kind of amped up. As I was saying, the animation budget's clearly bumped up a bit. Not that that's a huge deal or anything, but it was neat to see these amped up fight scenes that are like a couple steps above where the previous 2 series were. And yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I'd say like probably like a 9. Like I don't know that I could call it a 10, but it's up there. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I kind of immediately wanted to throw in the next movie, but I couldn't because of the format we do this show in.
No.
But yeah, I might be watching it tonight unless X
So,
Girl has.
so a
plans
hearty
for us.
recommendation and a big thumbs up from you then.
Indeed, absolutely.
Good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. Mara.
Yeah, it's definitely darker in tone as compared to Unlimited Blade Works, and it's not saying it as a negative to UBW because I enjoyed that overall as a series, but I've always kind of preferred darker-esque type of storytelling, and the fact that you're bringing back Vampire Granddaddy, and like who's definitely the darkest I've seen in this series, is like I like very much enjoyed it, and I want to see, like, knowing it's going to focus on Sakura, like, what's the focus going to be. I want to see like that. I do still think Lancer got done dirty a bit, but I do have a prejudice there, so I'm not going to say like too much of anything about that. But at the same time, it had a lot of like good what the fuck moments throughout this movie.
Yeah.
With like the reveal of the real assassin, Ryder coming back, Shinji's like, oh, he's not really the master, so who's the master of Ryder? Because she came in to protect Shiro, and Kirei flat out told Shiro, yeah, I fought your daddy in the last Grill War. That shit that went down, that was like, yeah, your dad was part of that. So it's like, it's like a lot of it, like kind of like with Mark, where it's like I just wanted to go into watching the second movie and having to stop.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I say probably like 8.59 out of 10 so far for this one, just because like if a first episode in a series or a movie grips me, then it generally gets a higher score. Because if it doesn't, then like I have no intention of watching the remaining whatever in the series or whatever. So if it gets me excited to watch that, then I generally give the first ones a higher score. So
yeah. All right, Caleb.
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Thank you. Good night. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess
yeah.
that's.
I mean, I love it.
and-
I mean, yeah, because I mean, like, I love it. I think it's great. I really do like the the dark fantasy sentence sort of stuff because like again you have Fate Zero, which is more dark fantasy sentence. You have Karno Kyokai, which is definitely the same way. And then you have this, which is all the same. So it really, like, if you just watch those three, it's essentially the same tone, the same kind of vibe all the way through. I mean, of course, Karno Kyokai is a little different, but in terms of the general vibe, it's the same. That very dark fantasy sort of sentence stuff. More
Yeah, I would
gruesome
almost say
and-
Garden of Sinners has more of like a horror vibe.
Yeah, that's the other thing is there's a lot of more. There's some gruesome violence in Garden of Sinners. But yeah,
Well, I think it's also the tone of it's much more subdued. Like
Mm-hmm.
there is action in Garden of Sinners, but it's like there'll be one action scene out of a 2-hour movie, whereas is still like there's a few solid action beats in this one movie here. So I think that it's more along the same lines as Fate Zero with the kind of dark fantasy, contemporary dark fantasy, I guess, because it still kind of takes place in modern day. But Garden of Sinners, I thought was very like ghost story ish, like
yeah, a little spooky.
yeah.
But yeah. So there's a through line there, but yeah, so because UBW is more like shonen with elements of slice of life, and El Malloy's Case Files is very much a mystery slice of life. So very different tone, a very different kind of brand of storytelling, but I love it all the same. So, but yeah, hope to have all of you back here for the second movie. Now, my question is, when are we going to do the second movie? Because I am up for. What is it? The 26th, right? Yeah, I'm up for the 26th because I don't have anything going on.
No.
What?
No.
No for you?
No.
Okay, so you can't do it then?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Well, I guess
I'll be
he's just saying
coming
no. I don't know. The 27th, can we do
Yeah,
Monday?
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
just
Yeah.
because-
That
I'm fine
works.
with either day, just because like the only thing I would really have going on Sunday is like the final D&D session for this year, and that's in the afternoon. So
Yeah, I think we're going to X-Ray Girl's family's house on that day, but even then, I think if I said like, yeah, I got to be home for 7, it would be fine. But yeah, no, 27th works for me.
I'm
Like,
fine shooting for the 27th. so
I'm
yeah.
off school until January 10th, so I don't really have anything
Good
to
deal.
do except
Yeah.
for work on videos and edit. But again, yeah, just finished to Get Good Scrub podcast that is still uploading the entire time we've been here. It's at 67% with an hour and 53 minutes to go in the upload. So yeah, that's 4K video on a 2-hour podcast, or an hour and 15-minute podcast even.
Oof.
So that's
Wow.
large files are what I deal in. Yeah, so I guess we'll shoot for that, but I mean, I guess keep posted to my Twitter in case we make any changes. But I guess anyone else have any parting words, or should we wrap this up?
No, we can wrap it up.
All right, everybody, remember, there's no fate but what you make for yourself.